Do you ever wish you could see the future? You know, you had one of those crystal balls you could look into and know what was going to happen, even today, maybe 5 years from now. I think everybody wishes we could do that, right? Of course, there's no such thing. And in my opinion, nobody this side of heaven knows the future, not to any degree of certainty. I mean, sometimes we can figure out what might happen based on current events, but nobody really knows. And so, in the 15 years of my daughter Jamie's addiction, a part of me so wanted to know, how is this going to end? What is going to happen? But then all the horrific events, all the horrific situations that I experienced, I'm glad I didn't know, because I would have lived in worse apprehension. It would have been way, way worse to not know the future. So, especially if you're a person who has had, all hell break loose like I have, you really had life smack you over the head with one of those 2x4s. What do? Right? You're just living every day. What is going to happen to my loved one if you're in that same situation that I was? What is going to happen in this other situation? And sometimes for a lot of us, we have a lot of things piled on at the same time. What I've discovered really is the only thing you can do is make yourself stronger, become more courageous. So, really, the only way you can prepare for the future is to know that no matter what happens when you get there, you're going to make it through. In fact, not even just make it through. At some point, you'll thrive. At some point, you'll take what has happened to you and find a way to bring some good out of it. That's exactly what I've done. And had I not done that, I don't know where I would be today. But it really all starts with you being stronger. Sometimes we have to just accept the painful reality of our situation. We have to accept that we can't control much of life. And we just have to know that we can literally roll with those punches. And that's why when I wrote Still Standing After All the Tears, my first book, wow, 10 years ago, I did it because I just thought, God, if I could help one other woman who's going through what I'm going through. And, I didn't have all the answers, but I came up with what I now call the 9 weapons of hope. And they're really the things that I still do today to maintain and even become stronger and more courageous than I was before. And, I've even come up with so many new perspectives. And in fact, my latest book's called Burn the Map. And in that book, I share snippets of stories of 12 other people. And I love that so much because I learned from each one of them and was so inspired by their courage in the midst of many different types of situations. So I think that's what we do. We surround ourselves with people that we can be encouraged by. And, sometimes we have to bring into our lives other warriors, right? Other people who've gone through hell so that we can know that we can make it. And so I think it's really important that we don't surround ourselves with just, poor me victims who are doing nothing but feel sorry for themselves. And that's not to say you shouldn't. I mean, there's still moments I feel sorry for myself. But if we're all living in a pity party, nobody's getting better. So when I say surround yourself with warriors, what I mean is people who are fighting, people who are working to become more, to find some sort of good out of all the terrible things that have happened in their lives. Think about it. Those are the people that inspire the heck out of us, right? They're the ones that make us believe that if they can do it, then so can we. They're the ones that give us that strength, that little spark, that belief. I mean, really, that's what we want. We need belief that we can make it through whatever it is we're going through. And you don't always have to be inspired by people who have the same story. That's why I loved when I put those 12 little snippets of stories in Burn the Map, is they're so very different. But I'm inspired by each one of them, even ones that I can't relate to personally. So I think that's what's really important, is that you find some warriors that you can get around, that you can be inspired by. Get some tools, get some resources, figure out how you can make yourself stronger spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Because when life beats you up, it beats you up in all of those areas. So that's my advice to you. You don't know the future. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody really knows the future with any degree of certainty. So do what you can to make yourself so strong and courageous that, yes, you'll grieve. You'll be devastated if something terrible happens, but you know that you will rise up, that you will get up off that mat and keep on fighting.